Okay, good morning. Welcome, everyone. I'm very happy to be here in this special event. The inclusive education, learning and teaching children, adolescents, and adults with special needs. We are delighted to have all of you here today as we come together to explore the important topic of inclusive education. This event aims to shed light of the significance of providing equal learning opportunities for individuals with special needs across all age groups. And we have organized a special point for today. First of all, we're going to have the institutional anthem of our Universidad, Nacional, Abierta, Distancia. Then the opening discourse. Then we have two ponencies, Sergio Garcia and the master, Jonathan Galindo, and the closing. Now we're going to listen to the proud words of our institutional anthem. So please.
Familia unadista adelante, por Colombia luchar.
Okay, very beautiful words of our institutional anthem. Okay, now we're going to receive to Jairo Gutierrez, who is a bachelor's degree program of foreign languages with emphasis in English, a specialist in pedagogy for the development of autonomous learning, master online education, and doctoral candidate in education science. So, teacher Jairo, the microphone is yours.
Yes, the main aim of this event focuses on strengthening the process of teaching and learning English to children, youth, and adults with special needs such as attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, AD, and other disorders, because there are awarenesses and pedagogical difficulties in most institutions in the Colombian Caribbean region and other territories of the country, forming and training bilingual teachers to get the right strategies and methods to teach this important population is not feel excluded. We are confident that we can create inclusive learning community where we provide an integral and complete education through unique experiences by giving clear instructions at the time of teaching.
Thank you, teacher Jairo. Very well words. Remember that we will deal with various aspects of inclusive education, including innovative teaching strategies, effective classroom adaptation, and the transformative impact of inclusive practices. Now, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Sergio Garcia Trejos. He's the first participant in this event. Sergio Garcia holds a bachelor's degree in English language teaching and a master's degree in English didactics, both from Universidad Surcolombiana in Neiva, Colombia. He has a specialization in project management from SENA, where he was a bilingual instructor for 11 years. Mr. Garcia also completed an advanced English course in London. Since 2019, he has worked as a full-time Spanish and language arts and reading teacher in IL Texas College Station, K8 in Texas, United States. He has over 17 years of experience working in the ELT field in Colombia and USA. He has also earned recognitions for his leadership role in his current job. Additionally, he has participated in research groups, published an article in National Journal, and presented an academic talk at an international conference about ELT in Hualtalco, Mexico. Now he's going to present his work named Special Education in Public School in Texas, USA, an overview from a Colombian language teacher. Mr. Garcia, now the time is yours.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction to me, the speaker. I'm Sergio Garcia. It's a pleasure to be with everybody here in this event organized by UNAD. So I'm gonna start my presentation. Hope you guys find it very inspiring. I just want to be honest with you. From my experience in Colombia, I didn't have that much background knowledge about special education. This has been a total scenario for me. So right now, I'm gonna share my slides. So I need the permission to share. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. So let's do this. So first of all, the name of my presentation today is Special Education in a Public School in Texas, USA, an overview from a Colombian language teacher. That's me. So first of all, we're going to start with this quote: every student can learn, just not on the same day or in the same way. So think about this. So just to have an overview of what we're going to be working on, we're going to watch a video in which we're going to have an understanding of what kids with special needs need, because sometimes they need to be heard. We need to hear their voices. So just, okay, right there. Thank you so much. And please, I want you to confirm if you're able to listen to and watch the video. Okay, here we go. Please let me know. Here we go.
Dear teacher, I know it doesn't always seem like it, but I really do want to listen and learn.
It's just my brain is kind of different. So this is what I'd like you to know about me. I have to move, or I really can't pay attention.
Even though I'm not looking at you, I can still listen to what you're saying.
If you tell me, sit up straight, now I have to use all of my brain to do just that.
It makes me feel sad when you tell me to try harder, even though I've already tried as hard as I can.
I actually listen better when I'm rocking in my chair. When you give me a bunch of directions, I start to think I will never remember all of this. Sometimes my mom or dad ends up doing all of my homework. So here's how you could maybe help. Let me get up and move while I'm learning.
Let me look wherever I want when you talk to me.
Let me rock or slouch in my chair.
No matter what, please don't take away my recess. Give me help I could do all by myself. Make directions very short.
Just ask me, what does your brain need right now?
And one more thing. My brain might be different than yours, but it's still amazing.
Sincerely, your student.
Your student.
Your student. Your student.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. It's very inspiring.
Pobres y ricos.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Un día, una madre de familia rica y muy
I
acomodada,
need to
con el firme
stop
propósito de que
this.
su hija
Okay.
valorara lo
So that was
afortunada que
everything
era de
about the
poder gozar de
video.
tal posición.
So I'm going to invite you to please write your insights. So from your perspective and from what you were able to watch in this video, I'm going to pose the following question to you. Okay. And everybody see my screen. Okay. So share your thoughts in the YouTube chat about the video using the following sentence stem. Did you know that in this case, you knew something about SPED kids? All right, so if you have anything in mind, okay, yeah, I can see that in my room, share it, please. If you didn't know anything about SPED or there was a particular aspect or anything that these kids mentioned, something that outstands, please share it with us. Alrighty, so when we talk about special education, we need to be aware of certain acronyms and terms that are very common in the special education area. So certainly we got the SPED acronym, we got IDEA, that is Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Is an act, it is by law, it's not something that teachers have made up. Inclusion, everybody's familiar with this term, is just the same word as in Spanish. And we have Individualized Education Program 504, and that it's according to the 504, that is according to the Department of Education in the United States. It is a civil rights statute which prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities. Certainly, we need to talk about accommodations because we need to accommodate our instructions so that our SPED kids are able to learn and to show how much they are able to do with language, because we're going to be focusing on how to teach languages to SPED kids. And we also have a look at modification. That is when we make some changes to the content and the performance expectations for our students. So when we look at this picture, the student, when there are certain symptoms or there are like some signals that make you think, okay, this kid could have some disability. So it could be referred to by the teacher or by the parent. Then there is a whole evaluation. Experts in special education will have to do in place evaluations that they're gonna have the outcome to say this kid qualifies or not for SPED services. And finally, year after year, they're gonna have a reevaluation. So how does a student qualify for special education? Certainly, the student must meet certain criteria, certain eligibility. And remember that not every single student with ADHD, ADD, autism, or any other disability will qualify. There is a whole screening process. There is a lot to do in terms of processing and evaluating the kids. So in this slide now, when we look at this, what can you think of? Let's look at this particular cartoon. It says, for a correct selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Same exam. Please climb that tree. Who do you think is going to do better? Who's not going to be able to do it? Who will struggle to do it? So just to have an eye-opening idea of what we're going to be dealing with today. Certainly, the categories that we're talking about, disabilities, autism, deafblindness, deafness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, and we got a more. The next one is intellectual disability, multiple disability, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment. And now we have a second cartoon. Look at this guy. It says, could you please show the ramp? The guy's in a wheelchair. And then the rest of them are saying, all these, he says, all the other thick kids are waiting to use the stairs. When I get through shoveling them off, then I will clear the ramp for you. So what is the priority here? Is he just thinking about the guy or the person in the wheelchair? But then somebody said, but if you shovel the ramp, we can all get in. So we have to set the ramp. That ramp is the process and how we can make it easier for our students, for our SPED students to go up to the next level, to keep climbing those stairs. And the other four categories of disabilities are special learning disability, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury, visual impairment, and including blindness. So these are very common things that we can see in the US because they have special needs. Special education has to have in mind that these kids need to move, as one of the kids said, and other things that we're going to be discussing more in detail. So the focus of this presentation is going to be about ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, aka all known as ADHD under other health impairments. So certainly when a kid is diagnosed by a professional and it's suspected to qualify for special services, those symptoms have to have a severe impact on their behavior and the learning for the most part. Common characteristics, they have like impulsivity, they have like a motor that never stops. They struggle with organizational skills. If you look at their backpack, it's a mess. I'm sure you have seen those kids that struggle to find a pencil, they struggle to find a sharpener or anything. Maybe their textbook is lost somewhere, we don't know. They are blurting or interrupting all the time in the middle of instructions. They just come out with some nonsense or crazy, you can tell, comments, and you just find it sometimes disturbing. But remember, they fidget all the time. They want to have something in their hands. They will not stop moving their hands. Sometimes it's their body, sometimes it's their feet, and they need to move. These kids need to move. And certainly, as a result, they just want to avoid their tasks. And they just want to do something else. So common SPED accommodations that we hear used in the United States in public schools, they provide those kids with disabilities equal access to instruction. They need to be able to level the playing field, because everybody needs to have access. They all need to show mastery. If they are, for example, if they're talking about how to talk about past actions in English. So what if one of the kids doesn't want to, or maybe he's not comfortable just writing? What if he just wants to say it? What if he just wants to draw, and out of the drawings, out of the doodling, he's going to show that he's able to show mastery of a particular, let's say, standard. So this is one of the top tips of advice, or pieces of advice for you guys. Visuals. Most of kids, when learning languages, they are visual. They need to have like a clear view of what they are about to grasp, what they are about to pick up, to learn. So certainly we can use word webs, picture, vocabulary all the time. Those big flashcards, don't leave them in the shelf. Take them out, use them all the time. Color-coded sections, they want to see color. If you think that black and white, only words and letters worksheet is gonna work, probably not for those kids. What if you use some memes that we the way we call it in Colombia, memes? Maybe we can use cartoons. We can use like characters of anime, something that they enjoy, something that capture their attention. Visual schedules. Okay, if they need to know what is next, because they're all the time asking, what time is it? What's next? What are we gonna do now? Visual word walls. They need to see those words with pictures on the wall. Sometimes they struggle to remember. They have short-term memory. Okay, I now remember that word because I'm looking at the picture that is posted on the wall. And timers. They are like all the time just doing their own thing. If we don't pay attention to them, and time will fly. Our 45 minutes, our 2 hours, our hour and a half of instruction will just go by so quickly. And maybe after an hour, you just go to him and, hey, what are you doing? He hasn't even started. Our kid with special needs doesn't know what to do. She has no clue about instructions. So all these are very powerful ideas that I want to share with you. So certainly, the next one is the signal words. We have the signal words beginning, mid, and end. We have those cubes that is, they are able to circle sometimes, to underline. They need to know how to box it. They need to evaluate sometimes. They need to self-check. And text structures, of course, with those graphic organizers, they know what to do with all that amount of information, of that amount of input that teachers provide. Is it about sequence? They are telling a story in past tense. Do they know how to sequence events? Do they know how to describe their favorite celebrity? Do they know that there is a problem and there is a cause and effect in a story they read about a relevant topic? And if there is a story, is there a problem and solution for this? Okay, we need them to focus, guys. Listen to me. We need to make sure that their attention is focused on a particular, let's say, object, unit, language unit, phrase, phrasal verb, any other thing that you can think of. So when we talk about getting their attention, we need to make sure that they are actually putting all their effort. They're paying attention to those specific details. So a pointer, maybe a heart, maybe a cowboy boot, maybe a guitar, something that gathers attention. Maybe a laser. Maybe a laser is going to gather attention. Maybe a bell, maybe a sound, something that is going to actually trigger their eagerness to listen and pay attention to us. So if it's out of paragraph, point it out, get their attention. Okay, the next one, the next accommodation I want to talk about, guys, is chunk assignments. If they see a whole sheet of paper, a worksheet with just words and words and words, and they are not chunked, remember that chunk is like a portion, a part. We need to break those. We need to break those assignments. We need to make sure that they know that somehow when the text looks smaller, it's easier, to manage. It makes it easier to process in their brains. Let's say if the assignment that it's, let's say it's a workshop in English, it has 10 questions. It's a reading comprehension text. So what if we just give them first 2? And then once they are done with the 2, we tell them, all right, now you're going to focus on these 2. And so until they complete all of those 10. By doing so, please remember this. You will be able to monitor what they are doing. You will be able to say, hey, you're not done with this one. Hey, continue with working with this one. Hey, how about this one? And you are able to provide that feedback, that assistance, that help that sometimes they hesitate to ask for. Sometimes they don't advocate for this help. They don't raise their hand to say, Mr. Perez, Mrs. Vargas, can I please have some help? They won't. So if you do so, if you chunk those assignments, it's going to be easier to process. Let's take a look at this example. Just food. What if we chunk that list? Frozen foods, dairy, bakery, fruits, vegetables. Just as an example, as a quick example. Something else, another accommodation. And we will be talking about accommodations here because that's what we need to do with kids with a special, of course, not only kids. It could be teenagers, it could be adults. Of course, in terms of development of the language, of language acquisition, we will have to tailor, we will have to accommodate depending on their age. But of course, let's take a look at this. We need to shorten those huge assignments. What if we just want to get rid of the fluff? Something that is extra is too much. This is too much. So you just want to eliminate, to delete, and just keep what is important for them to learn, like the core of your content. What's going to be actually the most important part, the takeaway from what you have taught. These kids need to have that option. So just get rid of the fluff. Please, you're welcome to bring your ideas in the chat. Is how much of your instruction can be shortened and tailored to meet your special kids' needs. If you have kids with special needs, think about this. What can you just get rid of? He doesn't need this. I don't think she needs this. So your comments are welcome. But next, let's take a look at this. We need to reduce those assignments. Those assignments can look overwhelming for them. Oh, so you're telling me to just find the letters, the missing letters of all of those expressions, read in a book, taking photos and so. That's too much for me. Maybe that's what that kid is thinking. I don't want to do it. It is too much. So sometimes according to their needs and according to the individual educational plan that we have designed with a general education teacher, with a SPED teacher, and even the counselor in the school, we're gonna say, okay, he needs to have maybe 25% less. So if we have 10 questions, how about we reduce it to 7 or 8 questions? If it's an essay, let's just shorten it. It's not gonna hurt. They will be able to show mastery maybe with less questions, guys. So colleagues, English teachers, student teachers, listen to this. Not always more is more, you know that. You know, sometimes with something like this very relevant, something appealing, something provoking, something that is going to capture their attention, they can do better and they can show that they are actually learning English. I would like to share what I've been doing all these 4 years. This is me on the left. That is my niece. She's 8 years younger than me. And she just wanted to follow my steps, and she joined us in my school 2 years ago. And these are my kids. You've been wondering why Mr. Garcia has put those smiling faces. It's because of FERPA. It's by the law that we cannot show the kids' faces when it's exposed to the public, because that would just be against their privacy. So these were the kids I had last year. That was when we were celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. So many kids with so many ways to learn, with different pacing. Maybe one of them took 1 hour to complete a task. Maybe one of them was done. Mr. Garcia, I'm done. What am I doing next? What can I do next? Can I read? Can I play on my computer? Can I play on my Chromebook? Can I just draw? So think about this. And these are some examples. We were saying, hey, these kids need to move and they want to be part of it. Let's make learning fun. They need to have fun when learning. They need to have a blast. It's not like in the Matilda movie, like saying with that big sign on in the classroom, if you are learning, if you are having fun, you are not learning. Totally wrong. These kids, when they notice that they have fun, that's when they fall in love with your class. So think about this. They need to move. So role plays is a very good option. I know most of you do it. Please do not quit. Do not give up. Keep doing it. And then you get notes like this. I know lots of Espanol because of you. Thank you. That was one of my students. She was a special student who struggled. As you can see, she tried her best, and we get those notes all the time when we try to do our best. Visuals. Maybe they like drawing. Once again, so those visuals, it's not only about showing them. Let them draw. Let them show what they are able to do with the language. So here they're making presentations. So don't let them like just write down, fill up drills. Just complete these 5 sentences. Make 10 sentences present tense. They're gonna say boring. Make it fun. Make it appealing, as Stephen Crusher says. Guys, these ladies right here, I had a hard time with them to get into work. But listen, when it was hands-on projects, they needed to describe an environment, and they just built that up as a team. So this was about cooperative and collaborative learning. And they were working, and they were able to show that they wanted to talk. They wanted to speak in Spanish. So that's what they did, because in that way, I was able to capture their attention and get them engaged. Sometimes these kids, they say, okay, I just want to listen. So maybe they're not all the time visual. Maybe they like to use their ears. So in this particular example, they are doing an activity in which they cannot see each other, but they are listening. Those are dictations. They're using their listening skills. But this young lady here, she was writing on a writing assignment, and she just wanted to put her headphones. That would be just isolate the noise, and she would be writing on her own without distractions. It depends on their needs. Let's remember, this is about student-centered instruction. It's not about the way I just want to teach, the way I enjoy the most. It's what these SPED kids need. Oh, unbelievable. This young man right here, he wouldn't stop rocking a chair, leaning back, jumping like a sprint, moving around, horse playing with his friends. Actually, most of them. One of them was GT, gifted and talented. He would finish fast, but believe it or not, he would be that one to help others. Peer help shouldn't be like just left somewhere out of your room. It has to be in your room. And this gentleman right here, sometimes he would just sitting down in his chair doing nothing. Sir, what are you doing? Remember, these 4 questions. Don't forget. Number 1, what are you doing? I don't know. 2, what are you supposed to be doing? I don't know. Did you ask your friends? No. Okay, you are supposed to be going and visit one of your classmates and negotiate the price of something. Okay, are you doing it? I don't know. Are you doing it? Yes, sir, I'm doing it. And number 4, what are you going to do about that? I just keep working. Thank you. With those 4 questions, you will see magic. I've been doing that for 3 years and a half, and it has worked so well. This is something, guys, skeletons, we need to show them what they're able to do, but sometimes they need that scaffolding. If we give them, hey, look at this. If you are going to write something, what are you just giving a skeleton? What are you just giving a model? They just create recipes, their favorite breakfast on these plates. And here, I wanted to do a fashion show. Those SPED kids, they were like, oh, Mr. Garcia, can I bring this? Can I bring that? I want to wear a hat. I want to wear a coat. I want to wear this and that. Go ahead. And I was part of the fun. I just put on that banana costume, and they had an amazing time that day. Of course, Remember, it's not only about having fun, they have to learn. So in this one, if you want to be part of the fashion show, you have to judge your classmates' work, because look at this, 10 out of 10, judge, and you have to speak to describe your partner. This is my team. This is the team I have been working on. Teachers who are bilingual, African Americans, one of the teachers from Spain, bilingual as well, because our school is a trilingual school. We teach English, Spanish, and Chinese. We don't have a Chinese teacher here because they have to share grade levels. So sometimes, I would say all the time, don't be like, just be humble. Be humble and ask for help. Sometimes your colleagues in your school, they will tell you, hey, I had that kid in previous years. And you know what was best for him? If you just put him in the corner. Isn't it that bad to put that kid in the corner? No, it's okay. Put him in the corner. He's going to learn better if he was working on his own. What about this other kid? You better keep him close to you, close to your desk. So they will tell you because they know the kids, or they will give you strategies that are working in the rooms and maybe you have not implemented. So use those strategies that they are using. Copying is not bad. It's not bad. What is bad is just keep complaining. They do nothing. I never get any work from them. Nope. Just keep working hard. The only kid I'm showing the face, this is my daughter. She's my student now. She was so proud of her poster. It was about other people's project. It was about community service. She created with mom and dad. So parental involvement, guys, it's key. You need to be in contact with those kids' parents or teenagers all the time. If they are making progress, give them a call. If they are struggling, give them a call. If there is any way you can offer them help, get in contact. Just schedule a parent-teacher meeting. Send them an email saying how amazing their kids are. Send them an email telling, hey, your kids, this is just a shout out that your kid has shown so much growth that I'm going to give him a certificate of recognition. And these ones, sometimes they want to sing. Why don't we just connect what they enjoy doing with English? If they want to just learn something in English, just let them maybe sing in rap, maybe using their favorite music tunes. So it's all about accommodations. Read aloud. Read those instructions. Use a megaphone. Find any way. It's your voice level. Or maybe just make a fake voice. Maybe if you are good at making voices, maybe if you talk like SquarePants, SpongeBob, you're going to pay more attention. Breaking assignments into chunks. Remember, chunk it. Just like taking some, let's say, some steak, and it's going to be easier to swallow if you cut that steak in thinner slices. And individualized structure reminders. They need to have that aggressive monitoring. When I say aggressive, don't take me wrong. What are you doing? Are you done? Hey, did you finish your work? They need to be reminded all the time what they are doing. Sticky notes on the side. Maybe a tap on their shoulder. Maybe a whisper. Maybe sometimes you need to talk one-on-one, but you don't want to embarrass them in the rest of everybody because they're not going to like it. Oh, he exposed me. He just burned me in front of my class. Now I'm not going to be the cool kid with ADHD. I'm going to be the one who creates trouble. I'm getting attention, but I could be just maybe somebody who's people are gonna laugh at. So walk around all the time and verbally or give signals to kids that, hey, what are you doing? I'm watching you, but in a positive manner. We need to capture their hearts. We need to build relationships, my friends. Skeleton notes, remember. Preferential seating. Remember what I tell you. Maybe sometimes it works better if they sit in the back. Maybe sometimes it works better if they sit next to the teacher. What if they work with someone else who's going to just help them? Somebody who is better than them, better, of course, they are all smart in their own way. And sometimes it's just a matter of giving them extra time. maybe 15 minutes, what you had in your lesson plan was not enough. What if you just telling, hey, you know what? If in 10 minutes, you're supposed to be done with question 3. You know they're not going to make it, but you're not going to tell them, but you will give them that extra time. Because if you tell them, hey, you have 1 hour, they're going to spend that hour maybe doing just very little. Okay, presentational accommodations. What happens when we do this? Let them listen to recordings instead of reading text. Sometimes those recordings is going to work better. Videos, clips, funny videos that are going to capture their attention in English. Do it. Bigger font, bigger print, with lots of visuals. Designated reader, maybe they're working in pairs. One of them is going to read, the other one is going to listen. And instructions orally. Sometimes it's necessary to record the lesson so that they don't have to take notes, because sometimes they struggle so much to take notes. Or sometimes you just let one of their classmates to take the notes and then they can share them. They need to know what's going to happen next, what's going to happen first, second, at the end. So they need to have an outline of a lesson. So if you write the agenda on the board, they know, oh, okay, this is first. Once I get into the classroom, I have a bell ringer, I have a warm-up to complete. Let's do it. Because if they enter your room and they don't know what to do, chaos will take place. They will not know what they are supposed to be doing. And they will be just walking around, chasing each other. Visuals, dear colleagues, professionals in English language teaching. Visuals all the time. And please, instructions. The setting. Sometimes it has to be quiet. Sometimes they're going to learn if they're near the teacher. Sometimes if there are special lighting, right? If there is some light there, if there is some acoustics, maybe some very relaxing music, they're going to work better. Sometimes they can work and at the same time, they can listen to some just background music that is going to relax them. Take a test in a small group setting. And of course, sensory tools. All righty. Now, how about time? Yes, they need to know how much time they have to complete a task. So a big timer can help. They need extra time to process that amount of information, all those directions, and they need to have frequent breaks. All right, make them stop, make them stretch. Okay, it's time to get up. Let's move. What about if we have some noodle dance? Do it. They need to move. All right. Maybe just sometimes going bananas is not bad. Just, for example, once I was teaching about earthquakes. When I said earthquake, to get their attention, they would have to just bend down underneath their desks, because that way I would keep their attention all the time to me, to my instruction, or their partners, or anybody else who was presenting. They need more time. Remember, they need more time to complete a project. Do not hesitate. Okay, maybe this kid, I'm going to give an additional day. Take a test. Maybe someday. That day he's not ready. She's not feeling confident. Maybe she just had a problem at home. And they have that emotional struggle. They will just shut down. They're going to cover their eyes, or they're just going to take a nap, and they will not complete your work. So sometimes a test is not what's recommended for a particular day. Or maybe this a different order. If you know listening, give them so much testing anxiety. All right, we're gonna do this part, these 3 first parts for language components. Let's start with reading, maybe then writing. Then I'm gonna have speaking sessions, one-on-one. And at the end, I'm gonna have the listening for everybody. That could work. Just play with your lesson plan. Remember, alarm to help with time management. Highlight, colorful markers, coordinate assignments in a book or a planner. Sometimes parents assist us with their assignments at home, and they need to know how to work better. If you give them like strategies, like a skills instruction, like, hey, if you do this, if you circle, if you underline, if you compare and contrast, they're going to be doing better in your room. Okay, so remember, we need to sometimes modify the assignments. So what if we choose different questions for them? What if we alternate projects? What if we just give them something different to work on? And remember, there are gonna be sometimes when you need to modify what you are teaching. Sometimes it's a different material, it's more visual, it's colorful, because they need to get graded sometimes in a different way. And at times as well, don't take me wrong, but it's not privileges, it's giving them additional opportunities to show mastery. And these are the 504 services, because there is a big difference with special education. Remember, 504 is when they don't impact their behavior or learning severely, but it's like less. So we provide accommodations. There is a broader definition of disability. Might be temporary, sometimes 504 services. That is a federal act, remember, is by law. If you are not compliant with this, you could get fired or you can lose your certification. Services are generally provided by counselors and other designated parties. But for special educations, we provide accommodations and modifications. We give them individualized per student. We define 13 types of disabilities that we already discussed. Services are provided by special education teachers. And the last but not the least, here in the US, many kids, unfortunately, have to be medicated. They have to take medicine every single day because sometimes their brain is not able to just control their bodies. Believe me, it's needed. So as a Colombian teacher, I'll be honest with you, it's been a struggle. It's been a challenge, but I've been able to just learn from my organization, International Leadership of Texas, here in College Station, Texas. It's a public charter school. And I feel proud of my university, my country, my education. So I just want to empower you guys to just think that you are able to do whatever you can. You are able to change students' lives, okay? Show them that they are loved. Show them that they matter. And show them that they can change the world. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time here with me. Feel free to contact me. And I want to please make a big shout out to Universidad, Nacional, Abierta, Distancia, and Professor Jonathan Galindo, who invited me to this amazing event. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Master. Very interesting in your proposal. And we'll see that inclusive education is a powerful approach that recognizes the unique strengths and potential of every learner. It promotes your proposal, promotes the inclusive society, and to live everyone as one, and fostering an environment and understanding the empathy of collaboration. Thank you very much. Very interesting and very professional. And now I think that we have some questions. So, Teacher Jairo.
I don't watch any question in the chat. Do you have of the people that are taking part at this event? Do you have any question for our first international speaker, Sergio Garcia? Oh. No question in the chat.
Okay, so I could assume that
clear.
Hopefully everything was clear. So, but please, if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me. I just shared my email with you. Once again, it's sgarcia1@iletexas.org. I appreciate your time. Feel free to ask for anything. I can just stay for a little bit longer and let me know. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Okay, thank you.
Have a nice day. Okay, very well. You know, that is very interesting what we have seen. And this morning now, we're going to receive to our second ponent, speaker, Jonathan Galindo. Jonathan Galindo holds a bachelor's degree in English as a foreign language a specialization in pedagogy for the development of autonomous learning from Universidad Nacional, Abierta y Distancia, and a master's degree in bilingual education from Universidad Francisco de Vitoria, Madrid, Spain. He has been teaching English for more than 8 years. He has experience in monitoring and supporting teaching staff, implementing teaching strategies in bilingual education. He also has international experience working with different students population in the United States and France. In his dissertation for his master's degree, he worked on how to support bilingual teachers to teach English to students with special needs, such as with an ADHD. He is going to present now his work that is named Inclusive Education, Learning and Teaching of English to Children, Adolescents, and Adults with Special Needs. So, Mr. Galindo, that is your time.
Hello, thank you to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you to all of you guys, the audience, and we celebrate today this special event. So we are so grateful with, first of all, with teacher Sergio. He's Colombian, but now he has international experience. So we are so grateful with teacher Sergio. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your teaching experience with all of us and your teaching experience in the United States. It has been really enriching, and I think it's very significant experience for all of us. And so let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Jonathan Galindo, as Rene said before, and I'm a bilingual teacher, and I study a bachelor degree in English as a foreign language. And I have a specialization in pedagogy for autonomous learning, both from UNAD. It's my university, right? And so I'm so grateful, and I want to say thank you that first of all, on behalf of our school, ECEDU, we want to thank you for Lily Program 2, to thank you for our leader, Jose Luis Sedan, and thank you, teacher Jairo, for your support in this event. And a special greeting for our director, Mardelia Padilla. So, and let me tell you that today we are reflecting. So it's a reflection about how we teach English language to kids with special needs. So we are talking about special education. So that's really important for all of us today. And I want to share with you, let me share with you, give me a second. I want to share with you my presentation today. Okay, give me a second. Right. So today we are talking about inclusive education, right? And learning and teaching of English to children, adolescents, and adults with special needs. But thinking about this, I was working on how we can support bilingual teachers by implementing activities to strengthen the process of teaching and learning of students with special needs, emphasizing with a student with ADHD, right? As I said before, we are working in a reflection on this topic today. And I have for you this title, this reflection or quotation, right? Unlocking students' potential. So think about how as teacher, as bilingual teacher, we can unlock in students' potential. So it says, let me read it. Teachers must empower children in their education, perseverance, self-esteem, and empathy, right? So that is to say, today, let me share that we never stop learning. So, and every student has the right to be educated, right? So this is one important part that we have to think about in our role as teachers. So, but next, we have to think about what is disability. So that is to say that adolescents, adults and children, as I said before, they have the right to be educated. But as teacher, we have a huge responsibility on this. So no matter if a student have any special condition, right? But we as teachers, we are the authors to make student dreams come true, right? Because this kind of student, they have dreams. They want to be educated. They want to have maybe a job in the future, right? That's why I think we are the authors to make student dreams comes true, right? So in this case, I was thinking about, guys, and all of you, the audience today, that when we have to know the weaknesses and the strength of learning, right? Why? A student learn, so it's gonna be harder for all of us. So also, let me tell you that we have to think about disabilities. We have to think about special needs. We have to think about special condition. We need to work more today on inclusive education. So I'm gonna repeat it. We need to work more on inclusive education because today's and after the pandemic, after the COVID-19, we have a student with different type of disabilities. So as Mr. Garcia said before, so but we can find today a student with dyscalculia, dysgraphia, dyslexia, and not verbal learning disabilities, right? And also we can have a student with ADHD. So that is to say, maybe they have trouble, but by paying attention. So a student with ADHD, they control impulsive behavior. So sometimes they act without thinking about their result will be, or they be overly active. So student with ADHD, they are active all the time. Also, we can have in the classroom a student in wheelchairs and others. Why? That's right. And let me tell you this. As I said before, that with this kind of a student, we have a challenge. So we have a challenge because most of teachers struggle with this type of students. Why? Because sometimes we don't know how we can, how we can deal with this kind of students, right? And schools in Colombia, for example, are working in order to improve their curriculum to promote the English language, right? And they are implementing in their curriculum, for example, subject in the target language, in this case, English, right? But sometimes most of the schools do not implement teaching strategies in their curriculum. So aló, aló, ¿me escuchan?
Yes, yes, teacher.
Yo te escucho.
Yes.
Se me...
Yes,
¿Aló?
yes. Don't worry. Yes. ¿Me escucha, profe?
Yes.
Listo,
I'm
listo.
online.
Sí te escuchamos. Vamos. Yes.
I'm online.
Yeah, yes.
Sí, go ahead.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
All right.
Change
I'm
the
sorry.
presentation, share display the game.
I'm sorry. I have problem with my connection here.
Don't worry. You have
Okay.
to present again, please. You have to show your presentation.
Can you see my screen now?
No.
No, not yet.
At this moment, no.
Okay, I'm gonna share it again. Wait a second.
Yes, it's starting. It's starting to present.
Okay. Yes, I want to. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So I want to
you.
apologize for my connection.
Okay.
So as I said before, let me tell you again, with this kind of a student, we have a challenge, right? And why? Because most of teachers struggle with this kind of a student, with this type of a student. And most of the school, mainly in Colombia, they are working in order to improve their curriculum, to promote, as I said, English in a subject like language, art, science, social studies. But sometimes there is a lack of teachers training in how to teach kids or students with special needs, right? But sometimes most of the school do not implement teaching strategies in the curriculum, as I said before, based on student with special needs. So let's imagine that you are a teacher, right? You just have a lesson plans for all your students. If you have 30 students in a classroom, so maybe 5 students with special needs, I'm pretty sure you as teacher, just you have your lesson plans for all your students. So, but the reflection is, so we need to work more in our lesson plans, how we can implement different strategies for those students that we have in the classroom with special needs, right? So that is really, really important. So who are bilingual learners with, let's say, with disabilities? Let me read read it for you guys. Bilingual learners with disabilities are children and young with special needs whose primary language is not English, right? For example, here in Colombia, our primary language is Spanish, right? So how we can work with this kind of students, especially here in Colombia, we have a student in, we have a lot of bilingual and private school here in Colombia, right? In our country. But how we implement strategies, how we can implement a different curriculum for students with special needs in our classroom, right? Why? Because maybe when teachers struggle is because there is a lack of, as I said before, there is a lack of teachers training. And for this reason, we must seek, as I said, alternative to help and support bilingual education in a student with a special need, implementing pedagogical and didactic activities. So let's think about more about Colombian education. And I was checking some information about Colombian education. And let's check this. Give me a second. Okay, let's think about Colombian education. So I took this information from the Minister of Education of Colombia, and it says education is fundamental right that children and adults have in the world, although progress has been made in Colombia. But pay attention to this, take a look at this. But there are still barriers that exist when it comes to teaching, especially for the population with disabilities, right? So think about this. So in Colombia, the education, it's improving, we have progress, but we need to work more on this population with disabilities, students with special needs. The website of Minister of Education, it said, let me read it in Spanish, right? Hola, profe Alberto, ¿cómo te ha ido este año con tu grupo de estudiantes? It's a reflection. Hola, profe Connie, te cuento que este año tengo un grupo de niños y niñas y adolescentes muy diverso. Está Luna, que es súper pila, le encanta dibujar, es fanática de la historia universal y está aprendiendo muy rápido lengua de señas colombiana, porque es una niña sorda, right? También está Juan José, que desborda energía por todos los lados, no se queda quieto un segundo y frecuentemente observo que no está atento mientras estamos en clase, pero es un duro para armar rompecabezas, el mejor en educación física y se destaca en las Olimpiadas de matemáticas, right? So that is to say, inclusive education. That is to say, we have a student with special needs in our classroom. So it is important to remember that all students are able to learn. It doesn't matter if they have a special condition. It doesn't matter if they have HD, ADHD, or any special needs, right? But it is important to know that all the students, all of them are able to learn, and or a student are able to develop multiple intelligence. And I want to make a reflection on this. Maybe you have heard or maybe you have read on this, multiple intelligence, right? You have read maybe Gardner's multiple intelligence. And as you know, if you have read about this, you know the multiple intelligence identifying, we allow us, and we can identify strategies that we can use to teach English language to students with special needs, taking into account the abilities that each one of them may have. That is to say, as you know, most of his students, they learn by doing, so they are kinesthetic. Some of them are visual. So some of them are good at listening. So maybe you can see a student in a classroom that it seems that they are not paying attention, but they are good listener. Example, if we are in a class, a student a song in English, so maybe a student, you think they are doing something different, but they are good listener. So how to take advantage of this? How to take advantage of a student, the way a student learn? So if you as teacher and you see that your students are kinesthetic, how you take advantage of this? If you see that your students are visual, how you take advantage of this in your teaching and learning process, right? So think about this. If it's I want to remind you that it's not easy, but we need to do our best every single day. So, and once a student can learn, we must implement strategies in our curriculum. So this is something that I'm thinking about because it's time to help our government, it's time to help our country, it's time to help our education, and we are part of it, right? Once we discover the way a student learn in a classroom, we must implement strategies in our curriculum, in our lesson plans, and to the other is to involve the student to be part of the great learning experience, right? How? Doing different things in the classroom, because we know that students have pedagogical weaknesses, and most of the schools have pedagogical weaknesses. And in Colombia, there are a lot of schools that have weaknesses on this, but we must do our best. To help our education, right? So in a classroom, we have different difficulties in a classroom is because we are not well trained, and most of teachers got frustrated. Think about this, you as teacher, have you had frustration in your classroom because you don't have idea how to handle with this kind of student population? So think about this and make your own reflection in your pedagogical practice. How do you feel, or how do you feel when you have students with special needs inside your classroom? You go and find out for help, or you trying to find your own solution, your own strategies? And one part of this, let me show you. One part of this is teamwork. If you don't know, as teacher, if you don't know how to handle with this or how to deal with this kind of students, let me tell you an easy point. And one important point of this is to work as a team, is to work with different professionals in your school, maybe university, right? Because if you find help in different professional at your school, I think that together working as a team, you can identify student needs. And also it is so gratifying working as a team because teachers need one final strategy for things to click on into place and all of the sudden. So you don't know maybe how to do it, and you need some help. So what is the steps? So first of all, teachers try to identify student needs inside the classroom. So teachers have communication with all the teams. It's important that you involve parents. So after you have maybe a meeting, you can talk with the psychologist. The psychologist talk about the physiotherapist, the pediatrician, maybe an academic coordinator. So as a team, you can work on the students with special needs, and that's it. Inclusive education too, right? That's it. Special education too. So because you as a team, you work for improvement, right? And because also teachers maybe wants to learn how he or she can structure a lesson to let a typical immobile student participate. So we need to dig deeper and combine all professional expertise. So maybe if we have a student, let's say in Colombia, most of the school, we have an average for about 30 students. Let's say we in 30 students, we have 6 or 4 students with ADHD. So maybe teachers want to know how to plan a lesson for this kind of student. Mr. Garcia told us at the beginning different strategies you can use in the classroom to deal with this kind of student, but we need to combine all professional expertise to work and for improvement. And also to get our student going by any means. And maybe if we fail, please try again. If you fail, if you feel frustrated, please try again. Try again and find help. right? But we need to work more in inclusive education, one day at a time. You make mistakes, you fail because teacher can make mistakes, but please try again, and try to work on this. So as I said before, in my teaching experience, I am not expert in SPED, so I am not a specialist in special education, but according to my experience, I'm trying to do my best by implementing different strategies and involves in my teaching experience all these kind of students with special needs, right? And despite students have certain learning limitation, they can learn, as I said, a second language too. So being autonomous, you can teach them to make them autonomous if they are well motivated. So as a reflection on this, please try to find out different strategies and think about this question. Yes, I'm concluding on this. Are Colombian teachers well trained to teach, let's say, students with a special need? Think about how teachers deal with ADHD students and maybe other learning limitation. Have you think teachers training? Maybe. So think about this. And there are some strategies that you can use in a classroom. For example, I have here, let me show you real quick. Maybe, so this is maybe a kind of definition, but I'm going to jump on the next topic because Mr. Garcia was talking about this clearly. And what is ADHD, you know? But some tips. So some tips just to trying to work on this is behavioral classroom management. So a reward or daily report. So try to motivate your student with a reward or a daily report card. So try to motivate and so you can do it. You are doing you are doing your task very well, something like that. So other different tips is organizational training, time management. Please try to work on time and skills. It's really important. Why? Because you need to teach your children time management, planning skills, and the ways to keep a school material well organized, for example, in order to, you know, a student learn and reduce distraction. That's really important. So you have in my presentation different tips. Build a strong relationship with the child's parents. So work as a team, establish effective seating arrangement, establish rules and routines, be simple, clear, and direct, break things up, allow extension, make tasks interesting. And of course, your own idea. So remember, teachers, you are creative. So we need to be creative. We need to be directive. So it's really important, your own idea. Okay. So the best you do in your classroom, believe me, you're going to have best results in your teaching experience. So this is all that I wanted, or we wanted to share with you in this special international forum. So we have socializing different kind of student with special needs, and also the important that is to work on inclusive education and how we can support bilingual teachers to teach English language, right? So we want to thank you to all of you, all of the audience, students, teachers, and so we want to thank you, as I said at the beginning, thank you, Mr. Sergio Garcia, for sharing your teaching experience in the United States. So it's really significant for all of us. And please try to work more on your curriculum, try to work more on your lesson plans, try to think about a student with a special condition, special needs. And as teacher, we have a huge responsibilities. And so we need to guide them. We need to try to, as I said at the beginning, make student dreams come true. So thank you.
Okay, Mr. Galindo, I'm sure that your policy will empower us to create inclusive environments that enable individuals with special needs to thrive and reach their full potential. Thank you. I think that together we're gonna go in a journey to understand, learn, and embrace inclusivity. Thanks a lot.
Yes, with so many different takes for the treatment for these special needs. Teacher, there are two questions. There are two questions here. Geraldine Karime Cervera Arciniegas, can you see him? She says, as a teacher, I understand the essential importance of those boys and girls who find it a little more difficult than others to learn essential things for their personal development. This is a question for you, Jonathan? Or complement of this statement?
Okay, let me read it.
The first, there are two questions. The same participant, Geraldine Karime Cervera Ciniegas, she has two questions.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
So it says, as teacher, I understand that the essential importance of those boys and girls who find it a little more difficult than others to learn essential things for their personal development.
Yes.
So as I was saying, so a student learn in a different way. So maybe if you are in a classroom, you can teach a topic, for example. So it is important to make a reflection from the beginning to the end. So that is to say, make a formal evaluation. When you do a formal evaluation in your classroom, you you're gonna listen your student comments. You're gonna listen your students' ideas. If you work on a formal evaluation, you can make a reflection on that. So that is to say, if you find out that a student all the time tell you, teacher, I do not understand the task. I do not understand what are you saying. So try to identify what happened with that student. Try to find out what is the way the student learn. So try to work on the multiple intelligence, maybe, because you're gonna have, or as teacher, we're gonna have a student, different kind of students inside the classroom. All right, that's my suggestion.
Okay. But the second question of Geraldine is, as a future professional in industrial engineering, I understand inclusion that means present, put into practice from different social contexts. But in the second statement.
Can you repeat the question, please?
As a future professional in industrial engineering, I understand that inclusion must be expressed and put into practice for the different social contexts.
So what I understand, and I understand is he's not
he's
he's
right
not a
here.
teacher.
The question is here at the chat.
All right. Let me
You
read
can read
it.
it.
English Engineering Program Central. He's a teacher. He's not a teacher, right?
This is a industrial engineering.
But I don't understand.
Doesn't say
so
he's a teacher or not.
I don't understand the question. So it's a question or it's a comment?
Maybe a comment, some statement. But you wanna comment, but you wanna compliment this statement. If you could.
So what I think is, according to my experience, is that if you are not a teacher, but you have the, you know, the, let's say, the gift to teach, if you have the gift to teach. So for example, as engineer, maybe as engineer, most engineers teach math, right? Here in Colombia, we most of private school, they in the curriculum they implement math in they are bilingual, right? They are bilingual, and you need to teach math in English. So if you are not a teacher, as I said, but you have the gift to teach, my recommendation or my suggestion is try to find support with all teachers. Try to find support with teachers team, also with the academic coordinator, also with psychologists, for example. Because if you find out that you have students with special needs, all right, but you don't know how to deal with, then try to find support with your teachers team. That's my suggestions.
Okay, thank you very much, Speaker Jonathan. Are you going to say any more?
I don't know if there is more question. Any question?
No. So no more question by the chat. The auditorium. No. Okay. Thank you very much for your attendance. All auditorium is full. Our international speaker Sergio Garcia and our local speaker Jonathan Galindo from SEAD Barranquilla. As a conclusion of this forum, is relevant to strengthen the processes of teaching and learning in English to support the delay program and in build is to all for ECEDU school and the same time to support all these the above topic to support the inclusive education project of UNAD. For example, unadistas somos todos. We are all unadistas. In order to guide teachers, students, graduates, administrative staffs, corporation, and parents, and to identify the different learning styles of human beings, proposing effective teaching strategies for the entire unadista community, but especially for those with special learning needs. This is the most relevant and important conclusion about the special learning needs for our children, for our students, or some kind of condition, special condition to learn, and overall with the learning and teaching processes. That is difficult for all and for teachers and for our students. Thank you very much.
Okay, Teacher Jairo, thank you to everyone for your participation in this event. I think it was very meaningful, and you can exchange your ideas with our speakers. Thank you for this. I'm strongly convinced that this event serves as a platform to the dialogue, to inspire, to encourage the implementation of inclusive practices in our educational context. Once again, a warm thank you to each and every one of you. This event will be a memorable and impactful experience for all. Thank you and have a nice day.
Was a pleasure for us. Thank you to you, René. And all the teamwork involved